Hey there, Bracy here. So we're back. How you doing today? It's been a good day for you, I hope. I have been hard at work on this new proposal. Meanwhile, conceiving of new things to do with QPVR, but I've been thinking about Genius a lot lately. My wife one day, hey, you hear the ice cream truck? I love ice cream. My wife the other day was saying something about not knowing if you can tell genius from delusional sometimes. And I think it was making me think about how genius really, really depends on the context, you know? I don't think, or at least people's perception of genius depends on the context. I don't think genius is an actual attributable thing that you can say it is always yes, no matter the circumstances. It's always yes, this person is genius. Like ultimately, I think even Albert Einstein would agree with that. He didn't see himself as a genius. He saw himself as a product of the circumstances that he had gone through, and that aligned his perspective to be a very specific thing at the right time. And it's hard to disagree with that. Like if you had taken Albert Einstein out of that specific point in time in Austria and Switzerland and Germany and US, all that was going on in that time period, and the Russians and dealing with satellites and trying to understand going at increasing speeds, all this stuff, all these things set the context for this guy to think about something in a very specific way. If you took him out of those conditions and you put him, 1,500 years prior to that, the conditions weren't necessarily good for a brain like that to synthesize that information and feed back with something that was pretty freaking genius. And so I think it's important for us to kind of take that in consideration for ourselves. It's that a genius is just as much about the circumstances that you're in as it is with what you have to offer in that moment. And I think part of that is what are you ingesting, what are you taking in, and what are you doing with that information? I think ultimately the more you're able to take in of the time, the more information you're able to take in, the more skills you're able to acquire, the more unique ways that you're able to look at situations, the higher the chances that you will come up with something that you yourself would be like, oh, that's pretty ingenious. That's pretty clever way of solving an issue or understanding a circumstance. So I think genius is really, the idea of genius is really interesting because it's a perception from the outside about an individual usually, and it's often never considering the circumstances that individual had gone through to get to that perspective. And ultimately, if we do look at like, oh, it is about unique perspectives kind of colliding together, or maybe the perspectives aren't necessarily unique, but kind of accumulating unique perspectives or different perspectives or diverse perspectives in a very specific place allows you to ask questions in a way that you wouldn't necessarily usually. So I think, I just really wanted to talk about that today because that was kind of floating around in my head. And no matter what, you achieve something great, you're not necessarily a genius. You're just a combination of fortunate, and you're filling kind of a vacuum of information at the time. You're not filling a vacuum. I mean, what I'm trying to say, I'm not going to articulate well, and that's not really what I meant. So we'll just strike that from the record. I'll let you strike it in your own mind because I'm not going to edit this thing right now. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. It's kind of a slow day. This proposal's not. It's starting to congeal. I've approached it, stepped away, approached it, stepped away. I'm starting to get to the place that I'm like, yes, I think this could be awesome, and that's when that's where you really want to get, is when you're like, oh, this could be really, really magical. I think magic, wonder, those are the feelings that I'm always trying to invoke, even within the context of the prescribed emotions that I'm supposed to be delivering from a client. I'm always going for, like, I want people to also feel wonder and magic. That's what I hope. I hope to hit. I don't ever hit it nearly as much as I would love to, but that's c'est la vie. So I hope everything's well with you. Yeah, I think that's gonna be it for now. Keep on trucking.